Play-by-play.
Somali helps Harry get on the platform. He boards the train with some help from the twins. They get his luggage loaded up where they pretty much immediately recognize his scar. Harry overhears some hush hush Weasley talking out the window, which has it's got some funny bits, and then they talk about him before the train is ready to take off. And guess who comes in to sit with Harry? It's Ron. And the most important friendship for Harry officially begins. Their opening dialogue goes on for a few pages. It's a mixture of awkward 11-year-old boy chat and super important glimpses into their character. Harry's nervous about going to Hogwarts, and he's got no idea about the wizarding world. He's full of self-doubt, and on the other side, Ron is completely self-conscious about his family's economic status and living up to his older brother's accomplishments. These themes continue throughout the entire series, really, and so does Harry's desire to share with his friend, which starts here, too, with a ton of candy and no dry sandwiches. We get our next Easter egg for the book's climax when Harry reads the back of Dumbledore's chocolate frog card, Nicholas Flamel. That might be important. We get our first glimpse of Neville, who lost his toad and has no idea now or ever that he will be so closely tied to Harry and to the overarching plot of this series. Right now, he's just a chunky little clumsy kid with zero self-confidence and a knack for losing and forgetting stuff. And then Hermione Granger makes her entrance, and she's obnoxious, super stuck up, super nerdy, super bossy, and kind of super lame. Of course, she turns out to be a total badass and the literal hero of this story. But in this moment, right now, in this chapter, she's a bookworm with a lack of social skills. But you have to admire, even in this version of our third member of our not yet formed trio, is how hard she's clearly already worked. This is a girl who's grown up with muggles, had no idea she was a witch, and has got to be super nervous about being here and going to Hogwarts and entering this brand new world, like Harry is. When Harry was anxious to start school, he skimmed through his books, despite what Snape might believe. Hermione devoured hers and then kept going. And you have to think that she, like Harry, thought she would be behind. All of these other students, in their minds, grew up around magic, and they already know how to do a ton of wizard stuff. She wanted to learn everything she possibly could to catch up and essentially prove herself. Plus, she has an obvious desire to be good at this. She's kind of like an athlete, constantly training her skills in the gym, and she started at 11. No wonder she becomes so formidable as a witch. She leaves, and our two new best friends, the two best friends anybody could ever have, get back to chatting, and Ron drops another Easter egg of plot telling Harry about someone trying to rob Gringotts. And then Malfoy's Goon Squad. We're not going to spend a ton of time here because we'll have plenty of chances to talk about how annoying the Malfoy, Crabbe, and Goyle trio is because, spoiler, we can't really take a trip on the Hogwarts Express without Draco needing to come by to try to bully Harry. It's actually on the ticket. Platform number, departure time, moment the most annoying character in this series is going to come be annoying. Check. More people screaming at me. But I do want to highlight one little thing from this exchange. And by little, I mean kind of massive, because he threatens to murder Harry. Quote, "I'd be careful if I were you, Potter. Unless you're a bit politer, you'll go the same way as your parents." End quote. What kind of an 11-year-old kid feels confident enough walking up to somebody they don't know and just casually saying that if you don't want to be my friend, I'm going to kill you? But why come seek Harry out at all? He doesn't know who he is. He didn't even realize that they'd met already. Why would the son of a Death Eater come look for Harry when he hears that he's on the train? Could this be Lucius's doing? There was a mention later in the series, I think from Snape in Spinner's End, that some of the Death Eaters thought that Harry might actually be a powerful dark wizard who would take up the mantle of Voldemort, and that's how he defeated him. Did Lucius think this might be the case? Did he perhaps tell Draco growing up that this was his theory? Would he maybe ask or task Draco with finding and perhaps befriending him at school that year? Would Draco maybe do that on his own after hearing all the stories? We know he's the type of bully who feels his power by who he knows and how much money he has. And like his father, tough when they have stronger friends than you. What was the goal here? What would the plan be? Get Harry to be your friend, assume he's in Slytherin, and try to influence him? Wait to see his dark agenda and then follow him? Be close to him so you can be in a position to be powerful when he takes over the wizarding world? Or is this just simply a kid who heard a famous name and wanted to go poke the zoo and, the animal zoo display? Whatever the motivation, the seed of hatred for these two was planted, and we get one of the most annoying aspects of the story, honestly, the Malfoy bullying rivalry. But I guess you can't have a hero's journey take place at a school without giving them a bully. The kids are about to scrap, and Ron's rat Scabbers bites Goyle, which is hilarious when you know that this is a 30-something-year-old wizard who's been hiding out as a rat for a decade at this point. I wonder how many times the Marauders got into animal scraps as their animagi form, and how many people's hands that this rat has bitten. Was this actually to protect Ron, or was this perhaps self-preservation? This is a Malfoy, after all, and as they point out in Prisoner of Azkaban, Death Eaters might not be so happy with him either, because he let he broke the Fidelius charm as the secret keeper for the Potters. He let Voldemort know where to go to find them, to kill them, and where to find Harry. And what happens when Voldemort tries to take out Harry? Bye-bye, Voldemort. Don't think that buys you a lot of favor with the followers of Voldemort.
The Belated Binge Podcast.